Well, hello there, you lovely lot. It's always a pleasure to see such eager faces ready for a tale. Gather round and let old Stephen spin you a yarn, a right corker from the good old days of Greek mythology. This one's got it all. Love, mischief and a bit of divine intervention. Now you all know Zeus, the big cheese up on Mount Olympus, always with a thunderbolt in one hand and a twinkle in his eye. He was the head honcho, the top dog, the one everyone looked up to, or feared. The chap had a bit of a reputation, you see, always smitten with some nymph or another. He was quite the charmer, always finding himself in the company of beautiful nymphs. Hera, his wife, bless her soul, was used to it. She had seen it all before and knew exactly what her husband was like. One day, Zeus laid eyes on Maia, a nymph of exceptional beauty. She was unlike any other, with a grace and serenity that caught even Zeus's wandering eye. Now, Maia was living in a cave, minding her own business, probably knitting a pair of divine socks or something. She enjoyed her peace and quiet, far from the hustle and bustle of Olympus, but Zeus, being Zeus, couldn't resist a pretty face. He was drawn to her like a moth to a flame, his charm and charisma on full display. He swept into her cave, all charm and lightning bolts, probably promising her the moon and the stars, knowing full well Hera was watching him like a hawk. He had a way with words, and Maia was no exception to his allure. Maia, being a smart cookie, knew better than to refuse the king of the gods. She was wise and understood the consequences of turning down such a powerful figure. And that, my friends, is how little Hermes came into the world. Born from a union of charm and beauty, he would grow up to be one of the most clever and mischievous gods of them all. But that's a story for another day. Now, Hermes was no ordinary baby. No, sir, he was a god, born on a mountaintop with a silver spoon, or should I say a silver rattle in his mouth. From the very moment he entered the world, it was clear he was destined for greatness. The moment he popped out, he was already plotting his next move. His mind was always racing, filled with ideas and schemes. You could see the mischief brewing in his eyes, even as a newborn. Those eyes sparkled with a cunning that belied his tender age. Maia swaddled him up nice and tight, thinking she could contain this tiny ball of divine energy. She believed that wrapping him snugly would keep him safe and sound. Oh, how wrong she was. Little did she know, no swaddle could hold Hermes. Hermes, you see, was a natural-born escape artist, a regular Houdini in diapers. His tiny hands and feet were always in motion, seeking freedom. He wriggled out of his swaddling clothes faster than you can say Mount Olympus. His determination was unmatched, even at such a young age. While Maia dozed off, exhausted from labor, Hermes decided it was time for an adventure. He saw an opportunity and seized it without hesitation. After all, why crawl when you can walk? His first steps were not just steps, they were the beginning of countless journeys. Or better yet, why walk when you can invent something amazing and travel in style? Hermes was not just a god of mischief, he was a god of innovation, always looking for the next big thing. Remember those divine diapers I mentioned? They weren't just any ordinary diapers. Well, Hermes put them to good use. This clever little godling had a knack for innovation. He fashioned them into the first pair of winged sandals. Ingenious little fellow. These sandals were not just for show, they gave him the power to fly. Off he went, zipping through the air, giggling like a baby possessed. His laughter echoed through the skies, a sound both delightful and mischievous. He flew past nymphs who gasped at the sight of a flying infant. They had never seen anything like it before. He zoomed past satyrs who choked on their grapes in surprise. Their usual revelry interrupted by this unexpected spectacle. This little godling was causing quite a stir. Everywhere he went, chaos and laughter followed. His first stop? Why, to visit his brother Apollo, of course. He couldn't wait to show off his new creation. Now Apollo, the god of music and sunshine, had a herd of beautiful snow-white cattle. They were his pride and joy. And Hermes, being the cheeky little scamp that he was, couldn't resist a prank. He had something up his tiny sleeve that would leave Apollo both amazed and bewildered. Section 4, Cattle Rustling 101, Hermes Style. Now, stealing your brother's prized cattle might seem a bit naughty, but trust me, Hermes had a plan. He herded those cattle backward, you see, so their footprints would confuse even the most astute tracker. Genius, right? He even disguised them with branches and leaves, muttering to himself, "Can't have those shiny white hides giving us away, can we?" Apollo, meanwhile, was none the wiser. He was busy composing a new tune on his lyre, completely oblivious to the tiny cattle thief making off with his herd. Oh, the irony! The god of prophecy, clueless about his own brother's antics. Section 5. Music to soothe the savage sun god. Eventually, Apollo realized his cattle were missing. And let me tell you, he wasn't best pleased. He stormed around, demanding answers, his voice booming across the mountains. Hermes, cool as a cucumber, played innocent. Cattle? What cattle? I'm just a baby, he cooed, batting his big, innocent eyes. But Apollo wasn't born yesterday. He knew his brother was up to something. And that's when Hermes, the little charmer, unveiled his master plan. Section 6. A lyre ally. Good time. Hermes charms his way out. Remember how Hermes was a quick learner? Well, during his little adventure, he'd also invented something else, the lyre. A beautiful instrument crafted from a tortoise shell and some cow gut strings. He started to play, and the music that flowed from that lyre was pure magic. It soothed Apollo's anger, calmed his rage, and filled him with wonder. Apollo, utterly enchanted, forgot all about his stolen cattle. He begged Hermes to trade the lyre for the herd, and just like that, peace was restored. Hermes, the little rascal, had done it again. Section 7. Subscribe for more mythological mischief. And that, my friends, is the hilarious tale of Hermes, the god of mischief, invention and music. He was a right character, wasn't he? Full of beans and always up for a laugh. Join me next time for another ripping yarn from the world of Greek mythology. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Cheerio!